But then I was like, right, this is going to be hot. This is going to be bad. And then, so I got me working and all that. And then I came back up and I was like, I've done it. I pulled in on a massive closeout. Like, I've survived. But then, of course, there was another one right behind it. And I was just right on the bowl. And it probably broke about 20 feet away from us, like a wave just equally as big. And then we've normally got like jet ski cover in the water, but the ski never had time to come in and get us out before the next wave hit. So there's no duck diving on waves like that. So I was like, so basically I just got ran over by the next wave that was like another 50 or 20 foot.
Hello and welcome to the UK Surf Show. We are your hosts. I'm Pete.
And I'm Leighton. On this episode, we speak to Sandy Kerr, who is Northcore team rider and also big wave surfer.
Yeah, and ambassador for Finisterre. Really nice guy. Really fun chat with him. Talks a lot about surfing up in the northeast of England, where it's super cold.
Yes, the North Sea. He must be hardy.
Yes. Yarm. Must be hardy.
Yeah. But yeah, lovely guy, super cool, really chilled and relaxed. Travelled around a lot surfing.
Yeah, surfed in Ireland, surfed in Hawaii, surfed in
New Zealand,
Bali, everywhere. As he says on this, his job allows him to work for 7 to 10 months of the year, and then the rest of the year over the winter go off travelling, surfing, living the dream.
Yes, not jealous at all.
No, not at all, So before we get into this show, don't forget to head over to Northcore and use the new code, which is SS Podcast. That is SS Podcast, and that will get you 15% off anything you order from Northcore.
We also have another discount code for a limited time only for the months of March and April, and that is the Hexi Traction Pads by RS Pro. If you go over to their website, type in the discount code, the UK Surf Show, with no spaces and all uppercase, you'll receive 15% off Hexi Traction for your board.
So if you were to just acquired a nice new surfboard.
Ooh, yes. We could use them on our new longboards, which would be nice, wouldn't it?
That would be nice. No need for wax ever again on there. But
no.
I kind of like wax. I like the smell of wax. I like the feel of wax. But,
yeah. We're contemplating, aren't we?
Yeah, it's an option. But I know there's a lot of people out there that use them and a lot of people out there that want to try them. So that's another discount for you. 15% off if you want to use it. So, Sandy.
Let's jump in.
So I'm Sandy Kerr. I'm a surfer from the northeast of England, just outside Newcastle, a town called Tynemouth to be precise. And I'm a sponsored rider for Northcore and Finisterre. And I think that about covers it.
That about covers it.
Yeah.
You're a surfer. You're not just a standard surfer. I mean, I've seen videos of you surfing and I've seen pictures of you surfing, and you're not like a standard surfer like we're standard surfers.
We're below standard surfers.
I've listened to a few of your podcasts, so I'd love to see you surf after some of your stories of you lot surfing. It might be entertaining.
Oh, honestly, it's shitter in real life than it is in the story.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, but some of the waves that you're riding, well, I suppose you're like a big wave surfer then, really, aren't you?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Obviously, in comparison to some of the big wave guys, it's pretty small fish, I reckon. But for probably like the UK and Ireland, I do try and put myself out there a fair bit. Pretty lucky in the northeast, although it does go flat a lot of the time. But when we do get waves, it is kind of a lot of the waves that we have are waves of consequence. So it's a pretty good training ground for anything else that you'll get into.
It's nice and warm up there as well all the time, isn't it?
Yeah, it's brilliant. But board shorts only.
I know Northerners, and that wouldn't surprise me actually at all.
Honestly, if I go against the grain and anything, I go against the grain for the stereotype of Northerners being hard in the cold. I hate it, mate. I've got to have like a dry wetsuit every time I'm getting out into my dry robe. I'm staying warm every time, mate. Taking no chances.
Yeah, that's what you need, though, isn't it? So,
yeah.
Did you grow up surfing, or when did you start surfing?
Actually, my dad opened the first surf shop up in the northeast called Sandy Surf Shop a long time ago when I was probably about 1 or 2. So I kind of grew up in the scene, but as you can imagine, in the early 90s, there wasn't much call for a surf shop in the northeast, so my dad's surf shop shut down pretty soon. Obviously from then we did meet a lot of the surfers and stuff like that, and then after that, or like during that whole time, my parents did have a little cafe on the beach, so I kind of was immersed in the surf scene from a very early age. But I didn't properly get into it. Like, I used to surf in the summer and stuff like that. I didn't properly get into it until I was about 15 or so. Pretty late comer, you could say, but yeah, definitely grew up amongst it.
So what's the surf scene like up by you?
Yeah, it's really good. It's thriving at the minute, to be honest. Like I said, in the 90s and like even the early 2000s, it was pretty small surf scene. Like now on a summer's day on the beach, it probably looks like any other like seaside town on the south coast or the southwest. We've got like 2 or 3 surf schools operating. It's really busy in the water. Lots of surf lessons happening. Lots of people come down the beach. Lots of kind of like surf enthusiasts. It's good, but like the core scene has kind of stayed the same from them early days. Like, you know what I mean? If it's freezing cold, sideways rain or snow, if you paddle out, you're pretty much going to know everybody in the water.
Yeah.
So I suppose you must be a little bit of an anomaly up there because I can't even say that word properly. Because being like a sponsored surfer on the northeast coast must be quite rare.
Yeah, totally. It is. At the minute, there's pretty much only me and another guy, Louis. He's a couple of years younger than me. He's got a local surf shop up here, but he was always a sponsored surfer growing up and competing and stuff. Yeah, at the minute, I would say it's pretty much only me and a couple of other ones up and down the coast. So I'm pretty lucky like that.
Does that mean you get recognised by like the younger kids and stuff like that then?
Maybe, yeah, without sounding cringe. Yeah, a couple of times, but
yeah, it's a weird thing, isn't it? You're just like, I'm just a normal guy. Leave me alone. I just want to surf.
Yeah, totally. But the funny thing is, I'll probably be for a pint with a dad the night before, so it like makes no difference. But yeah.
So it's all close knit then. So where's your favourite places to surf? Like from where you are now, obviously, like your local break, and then where do you like to travel to surf?
So if we just talk about the East Coast, like my local break would be a little beach called Tynemouth Long Sands, and a pretty average beach break, better at high tide, not so good at low tide, just like anywhere like that. But that pretty much works the majority of the time. But like I said earlier on, we've actually got tons of waves on this coast, but they're all like just as fickle as the next one. But we've got them pretty mapped down a lot of the time, like you kind of know where to go. And then definitely some of the places which, like anybody I can imagine, I just love being at home and getting the best waves at home. And then, in all honesty, I think we've got some of the best waves up here. So just sticking to the northeast, I do like traveling like within my own little zone because I know what I'm going to get myself in for.
That's not far from Newcastle then, is it?
No. So Newcastle's our closest little town, closest city, I should say. So Tynemouth little town's about 10 miles from Newcastle. So it's pretty good like that. To be honest, all around here, you've probably got to go maybe like half an hour either way until you're actually out in the sticks anywhere. We're pretty built up where we are. Like we've got Newcastle. I think that's why the surf scene's kind of taken off so much recently, because we've got like a major city like Newcastle that's only 10 miles away. We've got Sunderland that's only 15 miles away. And then like between them two, we've got like 3 or 4 universities. That's probably why the surf scene's like super exploded in the last couple of years.
Yeah, and now you've just put an advert out for it, telling everyone how good Tynemouth is. You're going to be inundated now with surfers.
Exactly, yeah. The Instagram probably going to blow up with a map in this. But,
So you've said before your normal job is working 10 months of the year. So what do you do on those 2 months of the year when you're off?
Yeah, I'm pretty lucky. So like I said, 10 months is probably the most I work, and it's anywhere from like 7 to 10 basically. And I work as like a lifeguard supervisor, so basically managing the lifeguard service up here. The other 2 months I just totally take off. I'm pretty lucky like that. But the kind of seasonal work, I've kind of got used to it. I've done it since I was a pretty young age. So save up a bit more for the months I'm working to feed me habits of surfing over the months I'm not working.
And where do you normally go then?
Last winter I went to New Zealand and I actually worked over in New Zealand for the first time as a lifeguard. Nice. And then so I was traveling around. Yeah, it was totally different. It was good. It was a lot more chilled. It was a lot warmer than the northeast, I'm sure you can imagine. But,
just a little.
Yeah. So I travelled around New Zealand a lot, got a lot of waves there, and then on the way home I stopped in Indonesia for 3 weeks or so.
Living the dream.
I know, it was a pretty good one. To be honest, I got the flight out to New Zealand to work in probably November.
Right.
And it was such a long flight. I was like, wow. No, I kind of knew what I was going to do. I just looked at the map on the way back. I was like, right, where's about halfway home? Oh, Indonesia. I'll stop there.
Oh, wow. Oh, what an absolute blessing it is to have the time to be able to do that. So lucky.
No, it worked out well, yeah. But winters before that, I've spent, obviously winters at home, but when I'm home, it's like where we are basically, like in the northeast, we're right about 8 hours from Cornwall and about probably a little bit less from Thurso, like right in the top of Scotland. So it's a pretty good place to be like centralised, to be on it with swells. So I would go for a lot of swells up in Scotland, and obviously in the last few years, I've spent a fair bit of time trying to get across the island for swells. Not as much time as I would like, but yeah, we're a pretty good location just for kind of centralised going to Ireland, Scotland, or Cornwall.
Yeah, well, we were chatting to Peter last week, Peter Conroy, and I know he's over in Ireland. Have you surfed with him over there at all?
I had, yeah. So I've met him a good few times. He's a good lad, Peter. I like it. He's good on the safety. That's for sure.
Yeah, incredible character, and well, he just didn't stop swearing the whole time we were chatting to him. But he could swear really, really well.
Yeah, that's class. I'll have to listen to that one. I don't know why I missed that one, but yeah, no, I've only met him a few times. Yeah, I can't say I remember that about him, but yeah, like I'm going to look forward to listening to that one now.
Yeah, no, he was fantastic. He had us in absolute stitches on there, like some of the stories he was telling us of things that have happened and stuff like that. But as soon as he said over in Ireland, I thought you must have surfed together over there. And,
yeah, he sounds like one of the main players over there, doesn't he?
Yeah, for sure. Actually, for the very first time I went to Ireland, I met him, and I seem to remember speaking to him the night before, and obviously I was with Jittery over there for the first swell, and he made absolutely no effort whatsoever to calm me nerves. I was like, do you think it'd be big tomorrow? He's like, yeah, it's going to be fucking massive. I was like, oh, sweet, cheers, mate. He's like, no, I wasn't just like, you'll be all right. He's like, have you got a life vest? I was like, yeah. He's like, you'll need it. I was like, oh, come on, man. Not just trying to ease us into it or anything like that. Just absolutely, yeah. No sleep the night before.
Oh, I bet that's terrifying. That first time of like going out onto those big waves as well, and like seeing that, and like just the sound of it alone, let alone like actually considering to get up onto your board on one of those or be towed into one of those. What's that sort of feeling? What's that thought process that goes through your head for something like that?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like thinking back to our first swell, when he said you have a life vest, the next day I actually wore 3 life vests. So I was like pretty scared. But getting into like, I haven't spent as much time as what I'd like in them kind of waves, or as like much as other guys, but it definitely it hasn't got any easier for us, like the actual nerves and stuff like that. It's not so much like the nerves on the day, it's the actual like week leading up to it, because there's like so much hype around all these swells as well. There's like so many WhatsApps popping up and so many messages, and they just do nothing to calm your nerves. If you just like wake up in the morning and be like, right, I'm going to go surfing these big waves, it probably wouldn't be so bad, but it's just like the whole week and the travel side of it and sorting out all your equipment, it absolutely fucks your mind for about a week before.
Overthinking it, I suppose.
Like on the ferry going to Ireland, like doing breathing exercises, you're like, yeah, I'm going to be surfing for like 12 hours. What difference is a few deep breath holds going to do now? Nothing.
So how did you actually get into like surfing big waves?
So it would probably come from a lad from up here called Gabe Davies. You probably heard of him. He's like a very, very good surfer, successful surfer. He was one of like the pioneers across an island. Him and an Irish lad called Richie Fitzgerald, and Gabe would go along. And I believe, don't quote us on this, but like they were like some of the first guys to surf like Mullimore and places like that. But he's from the same little town I'm from, so. And obviously, like, we're all just really good friends. So he was like a massive inspiration for me to get into bigger waves. And then, like I was saying, like the Northeasters kind of have like a few waves of like consequence, like kind of bigger, slabbier waves, or like long point waves that barrel and stuff like that. So I think it's just kind of like progression from like you surf a beach break, you'll go and surf a point break, or you surf a point break, you'll go and surf a slab. Then you'd be like, right, you'll surf a slab a bit bigger, or you'll surf a big point break. And then it's just, where do you go from there? Are you quite happy staying within them realms, or do you try and push it out somewhere else?
So does that mean, so when you went over to Mullimore, Would that be the biggest wave that you've surfed yet, or is there other places around the world that you've surfed that could potentially be bigger?
So definitely, I got a wave at Mullimore, which I didn't make, and that was probably the biggest wave I've got, and definitely the biggest kicking I've got. They seem to go hand in hand with these big waves and big kickings. So yeah, I don't seem to win on that trade-off just yet.
What happened? How did it kick you big?
Basically, I managed to paddle into this pretty big wave. I just had one like 10 minutes earlier as well, and normally like sessions like that, yeah, like sometimes you might not get a wave, sometimes you might get one wave, sometimes you might get 3 waves. But I just had a wave and I was pretty happy with it, and then this big one started coming towards us, and then I just seemed to be in the zone for it, and I was keep paddling for it, and I was like, I might get this, like, and then like looked at me left, looked at me right, there was like nobody else paddling for it. I was like, I'm on this, and I was like, oh shit, I'm on this, and then got this wave, and then I was like, I'm on here, like, and then like bottom turned, looked along the line, and just had the biggest wall, like it just looked like a closeout basically, and then I'm not sure whether I could have surfed it any better or worse or whatever like that, but basically I just got closed down on like I wouldn't like to put a number on, like a 15, 20 footer or something like that, totally closed down on. But then I was like, right, this is going to be bad, and then so I got me working and all that, and then I came back up and I was like, I've done it, I pulled in on a massive closeout, like I've survived. But then of course there was another one right behind it, and I was just right on the bowl, and it probably broke about 20 feet away from us, like a wave just equally as big. And then we've normally got like jet ski cover in the water, but the ski never had time to come in and get us out before the next wave hit. So there's no duck diving on waves like that. So I was like, fuck, here we go. So basically I just got ran over by the next wave that was like another 15 or 20 foot or something like that. So
yeah.
The first one, which you think you've like survived, but then there's just another one just to absolutely own you. So that one was pretty bad.
See, I like that thing you said then. I'm on it. Shit, I'm on it. I've had that when it's gone to like sort of 7 or 8 foot, and that's bad enough for me. That's about my limit. I'm on it. Oh shit, I'm on it. That's going wrong. Like, thinking of anything doing bigger than that, it's just terrifying.
It's crazy, isn't it? Like, I'm sure it's the same for you guys. You know, when you see a wave coming towards you, and you're like, oh, it's too big, but then your arms are just moving, and you're just paddling, and you're like, oh, what am I doing? I'm paddling for it now. I'm doing it. And it's like, what am I doing, man? Why do I do this again?
So I read somewhere that in your free time you also do a little bit of free diving. Is that right?
Yeah, and I used to do probably a bit more of it. It's pretty good when you're working on the beach. Like I said before, like lifeguard supervisor now, so I manage it a bit more. So unfortunately, I don't spend as much time on the actual beach. So that probably would have been about the time when I was still working as a lifeguard. So obviously you have a few spare hours a day, and then, or like before work or after work. But we got pretty into it one summer, like a bit of free diving. It's good. And then, caught some lobsters a few times, but it's definitely good for you. Like anything like that, like free diving, body surfing, just gets your fitness like so high, but it's like different kind. It's like all in the chest and your lungs, and being immersed in the water the whole time as well. It's definitely good fitness for you.
Yeah, so that sort of brings on to a question as well. What do you do for fitness besides surfing? Do you do anything to keep your surfing level up?
Yeah, I do a fair bit of fitness, to be honest. I kind of don't worry too much about like the whole, I used to probably a bit more, but like the whole breath hold thing and like actual doing stuff for just surfing. But I generally keep myself pretty fit. Because I just find like, you know what I mean, if you're going to like tailor your training just for surfing, it's going to like take something away from something else. So if I just generally keep myself fit, it's going to keep myself fit for surfing.
Yeah.
No, I do a lot of running and just general cross training. That's kind of why I haven't done much today. I don't know if you hear that. David Goggins challenge where you got to run 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours.
Have you done that, or you are doing it?
I'm starting it in a few hours, man.
Oh my god!
I know it's
that I've know of that guy just because I listened to the Joe Rogan podcast and they mentioned me on there a few times, and he's been on there a couple times. The guy is an absolute machine. He runs like 100-mile races and things like that, doesn't he? It's so crazy.
Yeah, he's crazy, man. But like same again as same idea of paddling for them waves. I was just like said to me mate a week ago. I was just like, yeah, we'll do it. We'll raise a bit of money and all that. But now I'm just like, we've raised money on that now, man. I've got to go and run bloody 4 miles every 4 hours.
4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours, did you say?
Hours, yeah. That's
oh my God! Well, good luck with that. That's one hell of a challenge. That is.
Yeah, I'll need it. If you want to come and run 4 miles with us at 4 o'clock in the morning, like I'm open to it.
I think I might leave that one. Thanks for the offer.
Next time, yeah.
Yeah, I got editing to do. I can't. Otherwise, I'd be there straight away.
All right. Yeah. Cheers, guys. You'll be there in spirit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That sounds just hideous to me. Running for it. The only thing I run to is the bloody car. If it's raining, that's the only thing I run.
Like going back to the fitness side of it, when you because you've kind of learned free diving, and it's all about relaxing, isn't it, and being able to control that feeling of wanting to breathe. Obviously, do you feel that's helped you with your big wave surfing?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, definitely. I think I didn't do it like crazy, like Mark Healy style, or like some of my friends have done free diving courses, which I'd love to do, but I never got around to doing it. But I think it was more just like pretty much like exactly what you said, like when you're under the water or when you're holding your breath, if you like start to like panic or you start like basically like I read this one thing about free diving where it was like, when you start like convulse when you hold your breath for so long and then your stomach starts to retch a little bit.
Yeah.
You're only like halfway through like your breath cycles then. So I think it's just kind of like understanding that. So if you're under the water and then you start like kind of like start to retch a little bit, you're like, oh, I've got like twice as long as what I just had basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the diving and the kind of, it's like, I thought like a lot of it was like trying to reserve your energy when you're underwater as well. Not to try and burn up all your oxygen and just the relaxed side of things and take your mind off it. Not just like if you're underwater, if you start to run out of breath, not just boot like hell till you get back to the top or like panic and like wave your arms around.
Yeah, the reason I asked, not that we're ever going to be surfing big waves, but we got invited to, just before like the second lockdown, I think it was, we got invited to have a go on a free dive course, and we were thinking, it was going to help with surfing, so it'd be a good thing we could talk about it on the podcast and stuff. But the thing that terrifies me about it is you can punch it in on YouTube and see what people get when it's called a samba. When they come up, I'm sure you're aware of it. When I think your body has a reaction to having oxygen too fast or something after you've been holding your breath for so long, and it's called a samba because it looks like they're dancing and they're actually nearly passing out but not quite. It's such a strange reaction the body has.
Yeah, I've seen that like once or twice. Well, not like in person, but I've seen it on like YouTube clips or maybe on little Instagram clips. I've never like read into it massively, but yeah, that looks mad. That. But like, guys, like if you've got the opportunity to go and do one of them courses, like, I would definitely go and do it. I've got a few friends that do them. One lad that used to do one like once a year, and then he like they said it was like amazing. Like even if you just go like for a couple of hours, like the stuff that you'll learn is just like will help you surfing so much.
Yeah, that's what we thought. Like just some tips, really, isn't it? And just to help, and even when just like you're paddling, to help you focus your breath when you're paddling, to try and conserve as much energy as possible for when you're ready to catch a wave. So yeah, I think we're definitely going to do it when we're out of this lockdown.
Yeah, for sure. I would pick somewhere nice to do it though if you get the opportunity. Like probably wouldn't do it in like the north of Scotland or the north of Ireland or the northeast.
I remember going to the Lake District years ago. I'm going back 20, 30 years ago with my dad, and I jumped off one of the sides into like a big rock pool thing there, and that instance of hitting the cold water and it just your breath and you just go and you can't breathe. That's it. You're
yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? It does, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was going to say the water up where you are is super cold, isn't it? The North Sea.
Yeah, it gets very cold. Sorry, geet cold. That's pretty northern as well. Yeah, it gets.
What's that? You have to explain that word. I've never heard that word in my life.
It just means it just means very. Well, I guess the easiest form of the word would just mean very. So it'd be geet cold, very cold. But yeah, so it gets really cold. Yeah, it's probably down to about 7 degrees. But
nearly as cold as the Bristol wave then.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. That like freezes over in the winter and stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, we went there just before we came out of the wave, and we had a text message saying we're going into a lockdown again or something, and. So that was, when was it? Late November, December?
No, I think it was December, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was the week in between Christmas and New Year, actually.
Yeah, around then. And the water was 5 degrees, wasn't it? I think it was.
5, yeah.
And it was horrific.
That's ridiculous. So I've never been to it yet. Have you got like duck dive the waves, or you're literally just like going to jump in the water, surf waves, and then get out? Have you got to like wait around? I don't quite understand like how long you're in the water for.
So you have an hour session. You don't have to duck dive any waves. They've created like a bit of a rip. So you after you come off the wave, you paddle to. They've got like a centre pier that splits the two pools, which are left hand and right hand. And you just literally paddle out by the pier, and it takes you all the way out. And you just kind of wait in a queue for people to take off on the wave, and there's markers on the wall to tell you where your takeoff zone is, depending on what level of setting you're on.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's really well done. We were a bit skeptical when we first went there, but we come away just thinking the place is fantastic. It's going to do so much for surfers in the UK.
Yeah, brilliant. We had a trip booked down there. Like a few lads from the local surf shop just here, Louis, the guy I mentioned before, and Reese and myself, we had a trip booked, but it was right when we went into lockdown, so we had to cancel it. But yeah, no, I'm keen to get down there. Like it's some of it looks like on that advanced setting or whatever. Like actually looks like pretty heavy on the takeoff.
Yeah, well, it's a different, like, because we're used to surfing like beach breaks, and we longboard, we surf beach breaks, and we like it's a slow takeoff, like normally Saunton. Slow takeoff, and it's just simple surfing. It acts more like a reef break, isn't it? And the wave sort of you can see it coming, but it sort of comes out of nothing, and it goes really quick, really steep. So you've got to be quite fast on the pop up on it and get into position, and you've got to be in that right position on the wave. If you're a adequate surfer or above, like you seem to be and are, you won't have a problem. If you're our level of surfing, sometimes you have problems.
Yeah, we're used to that kind of bump in the water, trying to surf that, aren't we? And this thing's it's quite steep. I think you need to trust the marks on the wall, don't you? Because it's not like you're picking your set that's coming in. It's all of a sudden bang, it's there. You just need to need to be on it straight away. But yeah, if
the marks on the wall, do they tell you like where you got to take off basically as well?
Yeah, there's coloured painted marks on the wall, and depending on which setting you are, depends on what colour painted marks there are. So there's like an area. So as long as you take off in between that area, you're more likely to be able to catch the wave. And you just got to trust those and go for it. So
man, it's crazy, this technology, man. It's madness.
Yeah, it is good, but also the lifeguards who are on the side and the people who are on the side of that session, they're really friendly and approachable and chatty as well. So if you talk to them, they are they'll tell you, you need to be forward a bit. They'll tell you if you're doing anything or what you need to change about that wave you're on.
Oh, brilliant!
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to getting down there now.
I think they're just about to open up their safari tents for holidays on there as well. Hopefully this happens this year. They've had the worst first year ever because of lockdown. But if you're planning on coming down and we're out of lockdown or whatever, then give me and Pete a shout if you need somewhere to stay, because we're like literally 30 minutes away. So
for sure. Is that where you guys are? You guys in Bristol, are you?
Not far from Bristol, yeah.
Yeah, it's about 30 minutes south. So Somerset.
Yeah. Ah, cool.
How did it come about with you becoming ambassador for Finisterre and becoming a team rider for Northcore? How did that all come about?
So I guess the Northcore one would have came first. I'm not entirely sure. I think one of my friends, a guy called Chris McLean, I think he set us up with both these actually. So Chris McLean, he makes really good surf videos and like films. He does a lot of cycling films and stuff like that. I think he'd done a bit of work for Matt from Northcore, and then I think it just started off with like sending us maybe like a few like leashes and tail pads and stuff. But that would have been probably over 10 years ago now. So I think Northcore was still pretty small at the time, and I was like still young at the time. So I think from them we've just kind of like, I've been with Northcore like a long time. And they're doing they do some really good products now. So and they're from the East Coast as well. So that does help. And the Finisterre thing. So I was speaking to I was always sponsored by a company called Santa Cruz for like years, for probably 6 or 7 years. I had a few friends that worked at Finisterre, and like Chris and a few other guys, like photographers, they'd done a bit of work for Finisterre. They never really had a team, Finisterre, and then when they first like created the team, they took 5 of us on. I was lucky enough, I was like one of them first 5. It's still the same 5 that we've got now, to be honest, 5 or 6. So yeah, that was about 5 or 6 years ago. But like Finisterre from then has just went mad. It's went crazy. It's huge now. Like
really, really popular, isn't it now?
Yeah, it's mad. Even like I remember like when I first got sponsored by them, you'd see somebody in the street wearing a Finisterre jacket, and I'd be like, oh yeah, that's Finisterre. That. Like, but now it's like just everywhere. It's good, and like honestly, I swear by the products as well. Even before I was sponsored by them, I was like wearing their coats and wearing their shirts and stuff like that. So it's good that same as like Northcore, when you're actually having like a company that do products that work instead of just like really shit stuff off the shelf that's going to break in like 1 surf or 2 surfs, or one winter it's going to be freezing after that. So it's good being like affiliated with 2 companies that actually like care about the products that they're making and care about the reputation.
Yeah, well, that's what we had with Northcore, because we started speaking to them, like doing the podcast and saying, it'd be cool to like give the listeners a discount or something like that. And they said, yeah, fine. And we've worked out a deal where listeners get a 15% discount off anything from Northcore. But the reason we're so happy to push it is because everything we've used from them works, and it's just good stuff. It's like, I haven't had anything from them, I think, that I've gone, you buy something, sometimes you go, that's shit, chuck it away or don't use it again. Everything I've got from them I use and I continuously use, or Leighton nicks it off me.
No, that's not right.
Totally. Yeah, no, totally, man. Like all their dry bags and all that. Like if you haven't got one of their dry bags, get one of them. They're like the best things ever. Like Hoya wetsuit.
I've just got one of their. I bought it for my partner actually. The surf robe, and the thing when it came, and I tried it on obviously, and it's just perfect. It's so well made.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, the stuff lasts as well. That's the main thing with me. I like having good stuff that lasts as well, and all that stuff seems to.
Yeah, is there anything that makes your surf easier is going to add, isn't it, to your overall surf experience, and obviously getting out of the water when it's bloody freezing, getting into something nice like that is the difference between you deciding to go or not.
Oh, totally, yeah, definitely. Mind you, though, you fall into a trap with them dry robes that you start wearing them like out the water as well, and like when you're not getting changed or just like letting the dog out for a walk.
It's funny you say that, actually. We were talking, I can't remember who we were interviewing now, but they live in London, and they said that they were on the tube the other day and somebody was wearing a dry robe.
No way. That's so good. Yeah, funny. Just this week up here, somebody set up an Instagram account. It must be one of my friends, because like they're all local pictures, but it's just dry robes where they shouldn't be worn, like waiting in a queue for a coffee shop or like in Morrison's or something like that. The Instagram account is so funny, man.
Oh, amazing. So on that of making your surf easier and better and everything, what is your mindset pre-surf and post-surf? How does it change? How do you feel before and afterwards?
So pre-surf, I don't know, I wouldn't really think about it, but then post-surf, like definitely I just feel like 10 times better, like outlook and everything like that. I'm sure like everybody says. Yeah, I just seem to be a better person to be around when there's waves, or when I'm like preparing to go and surf and getting ready and getting all my stuff ready. I just seem to be a better person all around. I'm sure it's the same for you guys, is it?
Yeah, definitely. It's that feeling of just totally chilled and relaxed afterwards, and you feel relaxed but energized, I think it is. But
we're like the difference between like pre and post surf for us is massive. Like, because we're an hour and a half away from a local break, when we do get to go, we are super, super excited, like little kids listening to like loud heavy metal music kind of thing, and then on the way back we're like listening to, I don't know, Enya or something.
Yeah.
Why do you always go to Enya? He always goes to Enya. We never listen to Enya.
Well, it's like the most relaxing example of music that I can think of.
Just say how much of that hour and a half drive back from the surf are you talking about the surf?
Well, that's normally, I'm going to take this because I'm normally driving. It's about the first 10 minutes, and then sometimes he's asleep for the rest of the way. It depends who's with us as well. We've had some we have some like if we put a microphone in that van, the journey on the way back, that would be a whole different podcast. But yeah, it is. I'd say often it's probably half an hour, 45 minutes back is talking about that surf we've just had and like things that happened, things we could do better, things that didn't go right. And it also depends on the type of surf you've had that day, if you've had a good session or you've had a shit session.
Yeah, totally. But it's like such a good like atmosphere. Like I love them road trips, or like when you're in the car, like just say you're driving like to the waves, you're talking like how it's going to be, and like I don't know, like the attitude and like the positivity is just like through the roof. And then if you go there, have a good surf, and then you're driving back with a couple of your friends, and you're all discussing what waves you had, and like, oh yeah, I've seen that one. Like them drives and them like kind of trips are almost just like as good as the waves that you had when you were there, weren't they?
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, it is a nice thing, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
Surfing trips with your mates are the best. They're the best things you can do, I think.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure.
So, when you're not riding big waves, because obviously they're not always there. What do you ride normally? What's your go-to board?
At the minute, beginning of this year, I got a twin fin,
Right.
So I get most of my boards from Beach Beat in Cornwall, and they also make cord surfboards.
Cool.
So Marky down there, I got a twin fin from him. And I was just like, yeah, I'll just surf at the beach, like when it's small, and I got on it, and then it's just like an absolute wave catcher machine. It's so easy to surf, like it's just like you know exactly what it's going to do, and I'm absolutely hooked on that at the minute. So like days which I'm like, oh yeah, I wouldn't normally surf, I'll jump on the twin fin. But then it's kind of went the other way that I was like, I should really ride a proper surfboard here. But I'm still just like riding the twin fin just because it's so easy and so good.
It is that when you find a board you like, isn't it? You just like, you think, oh, I'll use that for this, and I'll use that for that, and I'll use that for this. And you find a board you like, and you're just like, nah, fuck it, I'll just use that all the time.
Oh yeah, I'm bad for that. Like I'll just like put a set of fins in a board, like it, and I'll surf in like every condition for like weeks or months, and I'm like, I should really swap this up and see like what else is around. But yeah, whatever. But yeah, no, I've just started riding a few twin fins this year, and I love them. They're just you're like you go so fast, and then you're kicking off the back of waves like with like ear to ear grinning. You're just like, I went so fast on that wave, which is like I've just rode thrusters like my whole life basically until this year. So yeah, it's nice to mix it up, feel something different.
So have you tried anything like with like hull displacement or anything like that? Have you tried any of those sort of boards?
I haven't, no. I've had like over the years, I've had like a few like asymmetrical board shaped and like a few like eco boards made out of cork and stuff like that. But funny you should say that. There's a guy up here that's gonna make us a board, or like make a board, and then like a few of us are going to surf it with like hull displacements on. He does some crazy stuff at university. That's basically just wants to make a trial board and have a few people test it. But it sounds interesting what he's saying.
Yeah, we were chatting to a shaper on it before, Dom from Origin, and stuff he was telling us about them as well, and the stuff we didn't record that he was telling us about displacement holes, they sound absolutely nuts. Like it's a whole different angle to surf it.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? I use them in boats and everything like that. So why shouldn't they work on surfboards in theory? But whether it will or not, we will see.
How did you find the asymmetrical boards?
Yeah, I didn't really massively get along with them, but I think that's the kind of problem with a lot of boards like that. Like with an asymmetrical board, it is kind of like tailored for you a lot more, isn't it? So maybe if you spent a bit more time fine-tuning them and stuff like that, you probably would figure it out. But I don't know, I just surfed it a few times and then put it away. But yeah, it's good to go down for a bit of novelty every now and again. But like, I think the Northeast is pretty like good and bad for it. So obviously it goes flat, and then if I'm like stuck here over the summer, or if I can't get away for work or anything like that, it goes flat for such a long period of time, that a few weeks or even a month, when the waves come, you kind of don't really want to fuck around on something that you don't really understand or you don't know how to surf. So you'll just go to like something that you know. I think that's part of the problem with, especially surfing up here. Like, so like if I haven't surfed for 3 weeks, I'm not going to jump on like an asymmetrical board, which are like, I'm probably going to have like a rubber surf on.
Yeah.
Then I jump on something which I know.
Yeah, no, totally understand that. Yeah. What do you think of the UK surf scene now, and the UK surf scene, or how it's changed over the years you've been surfing?
So I don't know whether it's just because I was like a younger surfer, but I used to like proper froth up all like the UK events and like buzzing to see who done well and like read all the magazines and stuff like that. But I think it kind of took a dip for a few years, but now I think there seems to be like a bit more like resurgence of really good like younger surfers coming through, like Stanley Norman and stuff like that, who like would hold their own against like a lot of people in Europe. Same as like the Irish scene as well. Like you have like the Rouge coming up now, and like they're like such good surfers. But it seems like the past like maybe 5 or 10 years there seemed to be a bit of a dip. I don't know whether that's just because I was like a super surf fan when I was younger, and then I just kind of like faded off a bit from like reading all the magazines and all that stuff. But yeah, I think like now I think we're in a good place for surfers.
Yeah.
And like the surf scene just seems to be on the up and up and up, just like for any level of surfing.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate, because I think that thing when you're younger, you want to, you've got that keenness to know every single surfer and everything about every single surfer out there and all the information you can possibly get. And then when you start really getting into it yourself, I think I don't know if you lose that or you just don't care as much because you're enjoying the actual surfing itself. You don't care so much about the knowledge of who's who and what's what. It's just like, I'm just enjoying my surfing now, and that's the best part of it.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right there, because it's not like I faded off and like didn't surf or anything for any period of time. I still absolutely froth as much as when I was like 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, whatever. I think you just kind of focus on doing what you're doing instead of like looking like what everybody else is doing and stuff like that. Like probably my early 20s, there was a lot more surf competitions, like UK ones, like you had the night surf and you had like the UK Pro Surf Tour and the English Nationals and the British Nationals. And they just seemed to be a lot bigger at the time. And like for us, we had like a big competition in Tynemouth every year. That was like part of like a English like cup, and also there was one up in Scotland called the Highland Open. There seemed to be a lot less surf competitions in the UK, and obviously like with surf competitions, a lot of like media hype around it. So I think you automatically like hype yourself up to like read into it.
Yeah, that's definitely it has definitely changed. But then at the same time, I think you've got Instagram now, which is your daily. You can get more daily dose from Instagram than you can from a bloody magazine now, can't you, really?
Oh yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
It's nice to hear that the UK surfers are holding their own around Europe, though. When you said like the people that are coming through can really surf as well as the other guys in Europe, that's nice to hear that, because obviously they've got more consistent waves than what we do, and so yeah, it's all good for the UK surf scene.
Yeah, definitely UK and Ireland. There's definitely some really good surfers. Like the kind of like generation before would probably be like the Ruben and Russ Winter before that, but yeah, there seemed to be a bit of a lull in the middle. But now you have some like very good surfers coming up. It's pretty exciting to see. I'd love to see like a UK guy or an Irish guy go and like absolutely smash it in some WQS competitions and stuff like that. Yeah.
Have you got any surf trips planned or coming up then? Or has everything been put on hold like everyone else?
Yeah, I think same as everyone else. I think everything's been put on hold. This winter, I was meant to go. I had a house booked in Ireland for the first part of the winter, and obviously that got cancelled. And then I was gonna go and work in West Oz just over the Christmas period, just as a lifeguard again. That got cancelled, and then a few like trips to Portugal here and there, and everything else got cancelled this winter. But I did manage to get away to Scotland. Yeah, I got away to Scotland on 2 trips to Finisterre. And then we had a good winter here, so it kind of softened the blow. But as for future plans, nothing much. See what happens.
Is this the longest you've been at home for a good however many years then?
I think it is, yeah. It's been a pretty crazy one. Like we've had, like this winter, like we've had like probably like the biggest, cleanest swell on the East Coast like ever, and also probably like a few of like the best days I can ever remember. But I think we got pretty lucky this winter that we're all like locked in at home and we've got waves. I think some winters it could have been like a different story where you just sat on your arse for fucking 6 weeks not doing anything.
Cold and miserable, yeah.
We know that feeling.
Yeah. So, like, there's a couple of questions that we like to ask as well, which are best wave you've ever caught. Can you remember it?
Yes, only because it's fresh in my memory. I got one this winter at this wave that we surf a lot just down the coast. It's basically like every swell, I'll pretty much go down to this like particular reef break down the coast. And this winter, we had a massive, big clean swell. Now it was myself, Gabe Davies, and another really good friend of mine, Danny Allerton. And then we just paddled out, and it was like probably the biggest that any of us had ever surfed it. And like the first wave came through, and I got an absolute bomb. And that was probably just because it's fresh in my mind, but that's definitely up there with the best waves I've ever got.
That's nice to hear that the best wave you ever caught is local to you.
Yeah, totally, man. Like, yeah, it's definitely special when you get a wave like that at home. Like, we do have, like I said, we do have such good waves, yeah, but it's definitely nice when you have, like, when you get a day like that, or you get one wave like that, or you get a whole session like that at home somewhere where you spent, like, so much time, and you kind of always remember them good days. But also, if you've been traveling at that wave for the last 10, 15 years, and the amount of shit days you've surfed down there, it's really nice when you get like a really good day and you surf it well and you get a good wave.
Yeah, you're like, it's about time.
You're right. It's like, remember all them miles and petrol money I've put in on shit on shore days? Now you're finally rewarding us.
So, in contrast to that, what would be your worst wipeout?
Probably that one which I discussed earlier, where I got mowed down by the first one, then popped up and thought I was all good until the second one landed about 20 feet away from us and ran a train through us. But yeah, that would be about it. That was in Ireland. That was in Mullimore, probably January before last.
And then, if you could only surf one place for the rest of your life, where would it be?
Oh, where would it be? That's a good one, that.
So you have to think about this question, because we spoke to Matt Adler, and he put to this question another part is, where would you surf for the rest of your life? But then you've got to think, you'd have to live there as well?
Right, got you. I would love to say somewhere like Pipe, because I never got a good wave there, so I would like just to like devote my time to that place. But I don't think I could like live with myself living on the North Shore of Oahu, getting no waves every day because the crowd's just so mental.
Yeah. Live there, you'd pick the times when it wasn't as bad. You'd have those later or earlier sessions maybe.
That's it. Very true. I'd love to stay here and surf the Cove, like that wave which I was just describing, for the rest of my life. But it's not in the right geographical place. It's too flat too often.
Yeah.
I don't think I can give you an answer on this one.
Oh, that's fine.
Right, we'll say I'll surf home for the rest of my life if I can take home and put it in New Zealand or Indonesia or Australia.
That's the thing, isn't it? A lot of people do say their home break. That is one of the things a lot of people say. And I don't know if you meant to say the name of that place then a minute ago, but
it's all good. Yeah, it's all good.
That's all right. I've got the bleep machine ready for anything that's not on Magic Seaweed gets beeped out. Yeah,
didn't you run the bleep machine out interviewing Peter Conroy?
Oh, it'd just be all bleeps.
Welcome to the UK Surf Show.
Yeah.
It would have sounded like we were interviewing R2D2.
Brilliant.
Amazing. All right, and where can people find you online and look you up if they want to find you out there?
Not on Facebook or anything like that. I'm on Instagram pretty much only because it's the only thing I can wrap my head around. So yeah, too much social media does me nothing. But Sandy Kerr with an underscore on Instagram. That's where I am.
Brilliant, lovely. Thanks for your time, and I hope you get away to do some travelling and surfing this year, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys at the wave pool. I'm not cracking the ice, so I'll come when it's hot.
Yeah, definitely. And thanks for that, Sandy. What a legend. What a lovely guy.
Yeah, real nice guy, really. Really down to earth, real easy to chat to. Seems like the type of guy that you could just, get in a car and go on a trip with and just chat all the way and just like be a proper like nice mate,
Yeah, I was about to say, sounds like a lot of people we kind of know. Just feel chilled and just super happy to be out surfing.
Yeah, it's a common theme, isn't it? We've not spoken to anybody yet and gone, oh, well, they're a twat afterwards.
No, but you don't know what they're saying about us after they go off the podcast, though.
I've got to speak to them two idiots. Great.
Yeah.
But no, real nice guy he was, and I just love, his stories about surfing in the freezing cold. And that same thing, once again, where would you surf? He picked his local break.
Yeah, well, no, he picked his local, his like town, didn't he? But to pick it up and drop it in New Zealand for New Zealand swell, I think. So if we could have the New Zealand swell, but his hometown around him, then
that's kind of cheating. That's not answering the question, really. Get back on the line. Where is he? So when this comes out, he would have ran his stupid 4 million miles, whatever it is.
Yeah, 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. Wow.
Fuck
amazing. Yeah, he must be pretty fit and healthy to be able to do that.
That just sounds to me absolutely hideous. I could think of nothing worse than running 4 miles first of all, and then 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. I just fill me in and stuff me in a sack in the corner. I'm done.
I'm pretty sure 24 hours into the challenge, Sandy would agree with you.
Should we ring him and see?
Yeah.
How's he doing, mate? You all right?
Fuck off.
Yeah, come on for that course to see if you still think he's as friendly.
Yeah. Well, I hope he does all right, and we wish him all the best, and he's going to let us know how he gets on, so hopefully he puts it on social media as well for everybody.
Yeah, brilliant. So, before we go, don't forget, head over to the Northcore, use that new code of SS Podcast, and that will get you 15% off anything you order.
And remember to head over to RS Pro to get 15% off your Hexi Traction Surf Grip by typing in the discount code UK Surf Show, all uppercase, no spaces.
So that's it for today's show. We hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you next time.
See you later.